Greetings. Somber story to tell you here today. We'll be right back after the intro. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm going to tell you a story. I worked at a place where we helped individuals. That's all I'm going to say about that. And one evening I was sitting at the desk at this institution, and a fella came out. I was working graveyard shift. A fella came out and he was standing there and he was quiescent. He was just stationary, shaking and shaking. Now, I'd read a little bit about him, and I knew what he'd been through. Brought him over to the desk where I was sitting, and we sat down, and I asked him to tell me what was going on for him. And he told me one of the most horrendous tales an individual can go through. And it goes something like this. He said to me, I was brought up with the belief that it was a sin to kill. Thou shalt not kill. And he joined the army and he went off to Afghanistan. And he said he was looking through the sights one night through a night scope, and there was a fellow there that he considered to be the enemy, and he was ordered to shoot, and he said he watched the man's head explode. Now that is a terrible thing to have to go through. And he says at night in the dark he can see that individual's face, and then he can see the horror of his actions immediately afterward, running over and over and over again in a loop. He was sent off to war, like so many others, like so many people that came back, so many veterans. And I've known so many in my life. My father was a veteran. My father-in-law was a veteran. My ex-wife's father and her brother were in the Navy. And on it goes. Many of us have loved ones who have served, men and women, and with honor. And often we forget them. Well, a while back, a long time ago, this crossed my mind, and I was sitting with my guitar, and I ran through some chords, and the words came to me, into the fray, into the fire. And that was it. It just reminded me of trench warfare of the First World War on the Western Front. And if you don't know about it, please look it up. And so many died. So many were sent over the top into machine gun fire and died. And it was such a tragedy. An entire generation was lost in that war. And you'd think that was going to be it for war and warlike behavior. And I suppose in some way they wanted that to happen, the war to end all wars, as they said. But nevertheless, it was described by Professor Ambrose as a European civil war with an interlude of 20 years. And so the Second World War came along. That ended with the atomic bomb being dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima in 1945. And we lived through the Cold War and the terror of that happening again, nuclear war. There's been many wars since, and I have been lucky, like so many in my generation, that I didn't have to go to war. My children haven't had to go to war, but you'd think that people would wise up, but they haven't. And still, young people are sacrificed. Just as the Aztecs had human sacrifice, we have sacrificed our youth to go out and fight. Oftentimes, old men behind desks with agendas send young people off to die. And they come back. And they live or try and live back in a society which doesn't understand them. I certainly don't. I don't claim to. But what I can do is I can honor their service and realize that they've gone off to fight to give us peace, to give us freedom, to end tyranny, as far as I know it. And so, November 11th, Remembrance Day, is a time for us to give back what was given so freely by generations of men and women who've left their family and go off to fight for us in the name of their countries. I just want to honor them. I want to say this song that I've written is for them, and you'll be seeing it in a couple weeks. So I hope it is at least a tribute to those that we want to say thanks to. And I'll ask you to stay tuned.